time travel never becomes possible, we'd know about it by now. Travelers from the future would certainly have visited a time before the moment we are currently experiencing, now, and introduced themselves as our infinitely superior progeny. This idea is illustrated nicely by the Fermi paradox, developed by Italian-American physicist Enrico Fermi, which originally applied to the possibility of extraterrestrial life on Earth, but can easily be applied to time travel as well, and states, to paraphrase, if time travel ever becomes possible, where are all the time travelers? Where indeed? Unless, of course, in the future, time travel missions are highly classified endeavors, and so the travelers are forbidden to reveal themselves, lest they alter the course of future history, whatever that means, but actually are among us, observing, carrying out their respective missions, whatever those might be, surreptitiously, totally undetected by their infinitely inferior ancestors. Us. And so, perhaps, your friend Charles is a time traveler, or my ex-girlfriend. That sure would explain a lot. Her former babysitter, her co-worker, his stepfather, anybody at all. But I don't really believe that. Someone would have slipped up at some point, outing themselves as a visitor from the future. Human beings, even human beings more highly developed than we're currently capable of conceiving, can never be without fault, right? So some traveler, sworn to secrecy, would have squealed by now. But I could be wrong. I'm human after all, and I'm not without fault. Certainly not. I've been wrong before and will be wrong again. And then there's the grandfather paradox. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's the theory that time travel cannot be possible because it would enable a traveler to go back in time and murder their grandfather during his infancy, or at any time prior to the conception of the traveler's mother or father, really, thus ensuring the traveler's mother or father is never born and eliminating the possibility for the traveler to go back in time and murder their grandfather to begin with, as the traveler themselves, in this scenario, could not exist. A paradox indeed. Proponents of the possibility of time travel will cite esteemed physicist Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics and/or Stephen Hawking's consistent histories model as a means to dismiss the logical contradictions posed by the grandfather paradox. And these ideas do so, to varying degrees convincingly, depending on the intensity of one's inclination to believe in them. But I won't delve into the rather complex specifics. My feet hurt, especially that burning pain in my right Achilles tendon, and I have a few more minutes of walking before I'm home. I must maintain my focus on stepping softly, with each stride, to mitigate the growing discomfort radiating upward from my feet into my lower limbs. I recommend consulting Wikipedia if you're interested in learning more about the possibility of time travel, Enrico Fermi, the grandfather paradox, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, or the consistent histories model. And don't forget to donate to Wikipedia, which is mainly user-funded and has undoubtedly massively impacted your education. I wish I could travel back through time, although in a way I do, I suppose, as we all can, in our ability to look back upon the many moments that have made us, to live in them. Some of us do this more often than we should. We dwell. And some of us not at all. We fail to reflect. I wonder, is there a happy medium? To paraphrase Groucho Marx, the only happy medium is a clairvoyant and a successful marriage. Hilarious. If I could travel back through time, for real, I would. But I wouldn't change anything significant about the path that's led me here. The path, I mean, that I myself have cleared through this wilderness we call existence. Every action I've committed, every decision I've made, both of great import and, at the time, seeming insignificance. Not because I love my life, currently. I neither love it nor despise it. I've endured hardships, mostly self-imposed, and felt moments of pure joy, bliss. And never mind for now those aforementioned time travel-related contradictions. No, I would go back to when I was 14 years old, when I stopped growing, already 6.5 feet of insecurities and myriad psychological complications, and slip myself a note, perhaps through the airflow vents of my high school locker, but then again, I barely used that locker, so through my ever slightly ajar bedroom window at 260 Florida Avenue in Copiague, as I slept ever restlessly, hoping beyond hope, now, that doing so wouldn't alter the course of past future history, whatever the hell that means. I'm confusing myself now. In some meaningful, irrevocable way, like erasing myself altogether from every plane of existence in some cosmic glitch, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics be damned. In the note, I would write something I'd wish I'd known at the time, for it would have saved me immeasurable pain and frustration in these ensuing years, countless sleepless nights and wasted worries. And the note would read, "When you purchase sneakers, go a size larger. You think you're a size 13, but you're not. You're a big boy, Sean, and if you go on squeezing into your too tight shoes for much longer, well, someday you'll suffer hammer toes, incessant cramping of the feet, inexplicable subungual hematomas, heel spurs, Achilles tendinitis, bordering on tendinosis, and even moderate neuropathy. Aggravations you assuredly can do without. This life thing, yeah, it's gonna get difficult. Painful even. You'll fare about as well as can be expected, all things considered, which, if I'm being honest, won't be as well as you'd expected. But then, what is an expectation but the genesis of an eventual disappointment? So, at the very least, you ought to brave the frontier of your unfolding life with your feet in a state of relative comfort. In the end, it's the small victories that matter most. Step softly." I hope I read that note, way back when, and take heed of its sage advice. As I walk now, the burning pain in my Achilles, curiously, seems to be subsiding. Did I, somehow, without physically traveling back, merely by bringing the thought into existence, communicate with myself across time? Did I have one of those unexplainable moments we all have on occasion, 25 years into the past, when we look skyward suddenly, as if we've heard something significant but are not certain what, and even less certain of that something's origin, and receive a message via a mode of perception of which we are unaware in our severely limited understanding of nearly all processes, come through the veritable ether? I heard myself, I hope, beyond hope, beyond hope, now, in some mysterious or, at the very least, not yet understood capacity, hoping, advising myself to go a size larger, to step softly. And maybe I listened. Maybe I heeded that sage advice. After all, there's a first time for everything. And never mind for now those aforementioned time travel-related contradictions. Or maybe this therapeutic shoe insert I purchased last week, intended to take pressure off of the Achilles by lifting the heel slightly, supporting it, is doing its job. Only time will tell.